we go. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com's Daily Brief Recap. We just had a great session, and the Kavarkinator gave me the full endorsement that we had a great session this morning. So that's how I can say this morning. After I get done the daily briefs, Kevin gives me some pointers. Brian, could have done a hell of a lot better today, man. You suck. I hate when he says that to me. Just kidding. We had a lot of fun. Kevin would never say that. Even when I do really shitty, stupid episodes and I say something really idiotic, Kevin is such a PMA guy. I'll even say, oh, that was good. Good try. Anyway, not quite sure why I'm telling you about Kevin here this morning. But anyway, good morning. I'll try and make this short and brief for you guys over on YouTube, but, if after a while you're like, geez, I keep getting value from this guy day in, day out, just think about what we do on the daily brief. It's like an hour and a half of this every day. So, as I said, the Duke there gave me the seal of approval. We talked about a whole bunch of really cool stuff here today. I put together a cute little chart deck here for you guys. Look at the information overload just on the free video here. All these charts I want to talk about. We talked about a lot of stuff today. But, all right, let's just do a quick overview. Send you people on your way with some half-decent tradable information. I think as we've sort of been talking about recently, and this is the weekly chart now on the US dollar index. Remember, there's a gap on the daily charts right down at that level. And I think you can make an argument on balance that we're just stuck in a very wide trading range on the US dollar index right now. And I think that the daily gap is like right up in that area there. So, in actual fact, we could probably just go. So there is your total trading range, wicks and tails, all that kind of talk. And then we have sort of like trade location trading range. I'd keep a real close eye on tags of either the gap to the downside or the gap to the upside as sort of potential trade location levels. So there's sort of your window. If I wanted to short US dollar index, I'd be hunting shorts here and risking to a break of the highs. If I wanted to buy US dollar index, I'd be hunting buys here and risking the new lows. So that's sort of where it is in the US dollar. And right now we're right in the middle of a big trading range. Risk on, risk off. I'm getting the feeling like this story's getting a little bit old here. I show you these charts on a regular basis, and it's just been one directional for the stock market. I mean, gee whiz, this is coming like literally for over a month straight, one direction. You don't see that very often. Do see oil's catching a bit of a bid, trying to hang in here as well. And this ongoing debate, what the hell is Bitcoin? Is it a risk on or is it a risk off? We just put in this nasty top, weekly outside downside reversals, and trying to pick itself up right now. Had a long conversation with site members this morning about Bitcoin trading right now. I suppose we'll talk about that in a bit more in a little while, but just simple risk on, risk off. Risk on. Stock market, is China and the United States going to make peace, all that kind of stuff, and get back to normal relations, business as usual? Or is there still lots more curveballs ahead of us? Interesting, I saw this sort of on the rags, the talking heads. Mr. Trump's supposed to be having a very important speech in front of the New York Gentlemen's Club or something along those lines. And the scuttlebutt was the market was rallying into that event, and everybody was just holding their breath that he wouldn't drop any bombshells. We'll see how it goes. Only time will tell. Risk off. Gold's still working its way lower. You can see the bonds have caught a bit of a bid. Remember yesterday we said yen caught a bit of a bid. So not really any sort of clear trade or directional signals. I'm just feeling like an old gnarly market participant that these moves just have gone one direction for so long. I'm surprised there hasn't been any ebb and flow. I watched the biggest gold stock in the world and then the gold and silver stock index. Both the biggest gold stock in the world and the gold and silver stocks made new lows this morning here. So we certainly don't have any cause to be calling buy signals here. So not getting anything out of the gold. And then I can see a little bit of firming in the bonds. And of course, we have this very wide megaphone on the yen. Believe it or not, I could actually see a bit of a rally back there. And what I've been just sort of telling people, like I said, don't have a buy signal, but, just given this recent trading range on the gold itself, Julian is monster shorts up here at, around 1510, 1520. If we got a dead cat bounce, and we often say that we use the 38.2 as just sort of a tell whether this bear is still a bear, or, can we come up and actually W and head up through 38.2, which means that this bear mood is is over. So at present, and you can sort of see where the bottom on the gold price was this morning, we're catching a bit of a bid off of those lows. Mr. Trump, of course, speaking at the Gentlemen's Club. Stocks have gone an awfully long one way. And, of course, Bitcoin is still sort of humming and hawing as to what the direction of risk on versus risk off is. Very confused message from Bitcoin this morning. So that's sort of the state of risk on, risk off. On balance, stocks still moving higher. Crude has not broken down. Bonds kind of waffling, big ass ugly M staring us in the face. And gold, like I said, did make new lows. Stocks made new lows. Stock indexes made new lows. The bullion itself made new lows. Could we see a counter trend rally at some point here to relieve maybe a bit of the oversold condition, overbought? I think it's realistic. I certainly don't like the idea of going and chasing new longs on stock indexes or chasing new lows on the risk-off assets here. I think that's asking for trouble. What are we interested in the stock market? If the stock market does want to keep churning higher, I've been talking to you guys recently about pharmaceutical stocks. I mentioned yesterday that I'm super excited about natural gas names. Interesting, even before we got the Daily Brief recap going, Kevin's like, and this was one of his ideas that he brought up the other day, which I thought was interesting, this ADIAL. Again, another sort of biotech pharma name. You should look at all these W's and go, gee whiz, rinse and repeat, broken record, same message from Beamish again. But here's an interesting one, this PTI, which is in essence another pharma name. And gee whiz, there looks to me to be a letter of the alphabet coming in here. So, hopefully what you're seeing here, everyone, is it's not like I'm reinventing this on a daily basis. It's actually the same principles, just rinse and repeat on to the next market, next bus in 10 minutes kind of idea. So, here's yet another name. Of course, remember, everyone, I'm not telling you what to do with your money. I'll help you build trading plans and try and figure out what kind of investor you are, and so that dictates what kind of behavior you are in the market. I don't have any vested interest in telling you what to trade. It doesn't matter to me. But is this something I might put my own money in? W's are W's are W's. I mean, it's not rocket science. So, don't be shocked if you hear Brian talking about buying a little bit of this PTI here, because in essence, it's doing everything that we like to see out of stocks. W's within W's. I mean, do you chase it up here? Nah, that's a tough one. I mean, this thing has moved quite a ways. Could you work some stink bids down in reload zones? Absolutely. And interesting enough, we'll have the same conversation in altcoin and crypto in just a minute. Okay, so yet again, here's just more sort of visual demonstrations of Brian working his craft. And thank you, Kevin. Thank you, TRI site members. Keep in mind, I can't find all these ideas on my own. We all work together. In fact, tonight, Tuesday, we have our TRI Secret Options Formula meeting. So we'll all get together, all the site veterans and newly educated level 3ers, and just kick around ideas. What do we see in the market? So I wouldn't be surprised if there's a new name or two for us to review tomorrow. Oh, what the fuck? As I'm talking here, somebody's bidding this damn thing up here. That's not supposed to happen. Kevin, did you just go buy some of this? Anyway, hopefully you all see the W's. The logic makes sense. Do your own due diligence. I'm not telling you what to buy. I'm not giving you financial advice. Just telling you what I'm doing with my money. Now, let's head on over to crypto. As you can see from the Bitcoin chart, and actually, ironically enough, I just used yesterday's chart in most of the conversation that I had with site people this morning. I showed you on the free video broadcast, where is it if I wanted to be a buyer, I should be concentrating, and where is it if I wanted to be a seller, I should be concentrating. And right now, we are basically sitting at exactly 50% of this range here, and this is what I would call no man's land. This is a horrible place to try and pick your battles. And the worst part about it is, you want to know what horrible place to pick your battles off the lower time frame looks like? It looks like this. Hey, this might be a W. This is a new bull market. And bam! In your face. Get the hell out. Okay, well, maybe this is a big M and I should go short. Well, and really probably that's this kind of talk over here. Maybe I'm going to short this and get the hell out. I did hear some people talking about hunting longs, which, I think I've said recently. On the failure of these key lows, this is sort of what stopped all my sort of bullish enthusiasm for Bitcoin. I think hunting longs right now is dangerous. Really, really good example where somebody decided they were going to take a long shot and the market just went, F you. Boom! See you later. So you're just getting stop runs all over the place. Just total mess. And really, I hate to say it, everyone, but that's a function of the fact that we're sitting right in the middle of the range and horrible trade location, right? What we call no man's land. And unfortunately, of course, we have an inside bar failure. We have an M top, and actually an M top within an M top off the weekly price charts. And so with an inside bar failure off of that clothesline failure level, I mean, this thing's pointing down to me. And there's an old expression in the market that always goes, and we were joking about in the Daily Brief today, that goes, in a bull market, everybody makes money. And of course, anybody who was involved in crypto through 2016 through the end of 2017, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I mean, it was ridiculously easy to make money in this space. But they say in a bear market, no one makes money. And I got to say, this is looking very much like that analogy where, even if you were like, okay, you know what, I'm going to hunt short setups. I want to get short. These trading ranges are so big that you can't do this on things like Max or OKCoin if you're using like leverage. The ranges are just so big, they get liquidity runs all over the place. And frankly speaking, I think that's exactly what this is. This is just basically a, let's hunt those 10x liquidity levels. And let's see if we can flush them out. All right, let's see if we can do it the other side. All right, let's see if we can do it the other side. All right, let's see if we can do it the other side. And at the end of the day, the quote-unquote traders are just left with, oh, this is so frustrating. And what do we get out of it after all that's said and done is the market's working its way lower. Drive you crazy. So for the time being, I was hunting shorts. Last night and even yesterday I had sort of showed you, and let's see if I still have these funny lines. Yesterday I drew all this out. If I got a nice little lower highs and then a breakthrough bought levels, well, that was telling me that I think the market wants to go down to this 8,200 area. I still think that's on the deck. The problem here, of course, is you'll notice, and this is what I saw when I woke up this morning, which kind of drove me crazy. Whoops, actually, let's leave those. I got rid of it. Anyway, everything's set up nice and politely here. One high, two highs, three highs, and then all of a sudden this candle, look at this crazy ass run up here. Right? And as I said, some people on the site were saying that they bought this breakout and then bang, they got hammered. So when I saw this, it was like, well, is this my setup? No, it isn't. You know, at best, if I'm thinking bear now, I got to drag this all the way back up to there and go into hunting mode. And you can see, I mean, we're not getting any kind of structure at all to work with this here. So as a result, I just haven't taken a trade. And there's nothing for a guy like me to do right now. I have to wait for my setups. So Chop Central, I was warning the community about this. Horrible trade location off the higher time frames. And the lower time frame players, they are just raping the kids right now, which really sucks, but welcome to capitalism. If they can do this, they'll do it. And until we get into like higher time frame trade location, you got to be able to just be damn patient, disciplined, wait for your setups, and then you know, if your setup does fire, well, live by the sword, die by the sword. And if you get these FU stop runs that liquidate you, well, so be it. You know, you got to build it into your plan. You got to be able to handle this kind of insanity. And what I was actually telling site members is, look, and unless you're like really advanced in your trading, just leave this stuff alone. I mean, that's a terrible thing to say. Just leave it alone. But for the time being, now our new trading range is all the way up there at 9,000. The bottom is 8,600, nice 5% room. In essence, now they've set up where they can wash either size, and the 20x people just get totally destroyed. Until this thing settled down a bit, my advice, well, not advice, but what I'm doing is I'm just letting this thing settle down. And with the understanding that I'm still looking for the market to work its way lower. To finish off this free broadcast, you know, just because Bitcoin's in a crappy location and there really isn't anything to do here right now, does that mean that there aren't other ideas that are attractive? And you can see I've got 4 different ideas on here, all altcoins. So you tell me whether Brian's interested. And really the bottom line here is we want those weekly W's. You saw what happened if I change this Bitcoin chart to a weekly price chart. I mean, you should be able to see this weekly W right down here. Down, up, down, breakout. That's where we want to be interested. So I went, and keep in mind all of these assets are priced in US dollars, right? So I'm trying to figure out in hard currency terms whether there are any weekly W's. Augur, you know, we kind of talked about this recently. Trying to put in a nice turn here. I don't know whether I believe that tail or not. You know, remember we talked lots about this, did tweets about it. There was a beautiful little short-term setup here versus Bitcoin. But just good example, you know, come right back down into reload zones. And gee whiz, here comes signs of bottoms. Down, up, down. Are we going to break? Are we going to break? Little head fake break. Nope, we're heading higher. You know, and now I think I showed you guys, like I've got like reload zone bids in here to try and accumulate a bit of this. I like the name. One that I think is breaking out as we speak. Look at that Wabi. Love this, you know, versus US dollar. You know, same logic as what I just showed you there a second ago. You know, reload zones, are we at or below reload zones? And I mean, look at this beautiful bottom. If you're really slick, then you got in off of that W, down, up, down, breakout. But this is a weekly price chart, right? So you can see this level right here. This is going to represent a big weekly double bottom. Want to go throw some bids in there? Not a bad idea. Reload zones, all that kind of stuff. I'm seeing a lot of names. I mean, obviously these ones have already moved, so it's a little bit late. You know, kind of like what I showed you on the pharma stocks. I mean, you got to be hunting them as they're breaking out. So here's one that has not broken out. I like this one because it's actually very similar to Doge. But this is Mona. Mona's got the cat icon, whereas Doge has the dog icon, and it's very popular in Japan. So same sort of thing. You can see the bottom trying to form in here. If we change this to a line chart, you'll probably see it a little bit better. We gotta go. There we go. So keep your eyes peeled. I mean, it looks like this thing, yeah, so it's not in here yet. But I definitely like to keep an eye on this guy. It is versus US dollar. I think actually the W was coming in off the weekly basis versus Bitcoin. But, here is an example. There is nice weekly W. So let's just keep our eyes peeled from Mona. Probably not really anything to do there today, but one that kind of jumped out at me. And then this was an interesting one that somebody just mentioned in through Daily Brief here today, this ADA. Notice it's right back down at its double bottom. And I think Kevin was even saying that they have I don't know whether it's an airdrop or something, but there's some incentive to go and be long ADA off of your own wallet. So maybe something's going on with regard to that. But here's another one that's very interesting. It hasn't W'd yet, but keep your eyes peeled for that W action. So there are names that look very interesting within the altcoin space. Some of them have W'd. Some of them, like this Wabi, they Augur versus US versus Bitcoin, really good looking W versus US dollar. It's okay. There it is there. And I just, I'm not really giving you anything that, pound the table, you got to buy this today. But I just wanted to bring this message to the community that I do like a bunch of names in this altcoin space. I think they look really interesting here. Been talking to you guys about this Ubic recently. Look at what's trying to come in there. I know, we talked about Doge at the Daily Brief quite a bit earlier. Okay, so I think we'll leave it at that. I probably talked way too much. I kind of got off tangent here with all these altcoins. But I am seeing a bunch of W's coming in here. So pay attention. Just like the stock market, I'm feeling very uppy, risk on. The only sort of conundrum out of this whole sort of market state right now for me is what the hell's going on with this crazy Bitcoin. It's caught in a very, very wide trading range right now here. And, poor trade location at best. Maybe let's let this thing settle down here a little bit till we start seeing new setups, because I'm seeing FUs all over the place here on Bitcoin. Okay, I think I'm going to leave it at that for today. Have yourselves a great day, everybody. My apologies yesterday if I went a little too overboard on the emotional outburst. But our veterans, they deserve a special place in our heart. Okay, have yourselves a great day, everybody. All the best, and bye.